Hey guys, George here from the F1 Chronicle, and the fallout from the Austrian Grand Prix continues. Obviously, we had a very eventful race, to say the least, where Max Verstappen and Lando Norris were both going for the lead, both going for the victory in this race. But unfortunately, they came to blows. Neither of them ended up winning, and obviously, George Russell ends up sweeping through to get his first victory of the season. But I want to talk more about Lando and Max and what happened between them. Now, I've already given my opinion in my 5 things review of the race, and anybody who's watched that video, if you're not already watched it, please do, obviously. But the long and short of it for me is that it's 100% Max Verstappen's fault, the actual incident where they made contact. Max did not give Lando Norris a car's width when he was going around the outside. If Lando was going down the inside, then perhaps you could see some sort of side from Verstappen's opinion. You could see why, if it was a bit of a lunge, like some of Lando's moves before that, you could perhaps understand it. But still, contact is contact. It's not on in Formula One, and that one in particular, he just scores him too far to the outside. He thought that Lando Norris was going to back out because of that, but no, he absolutely kept his nose in, as he had the right to. At that point, he was pretty much ahead. I mean, yes, you could argue he was ahead because he was lunging, but still, he was ahead. And because of that, Verstappen, very deservedly, in my opinion, got a 10-second penalty. Actually, if I'm being honest, I think it should have been more severe. But I think as well that Andrea Stella, the team principal for McLaren, also probably agrees with me. And you might say, oh, of course he does. He's McLaren's team principal, but I think his points on this are actually pretty spot on, and here's why. So let me just read out what he said after the race to Ted Kravitz. He said, "The problem is that if you don't address these things honestly, they will come back. They have come back today because they were not addressed properly in the past, where there were fights with Lewis that needed to be punished in a harsher way." So what's he talking about? Well, he's talking about 2021. The 2021 season, the epic battle between Sir Lewis and Max Verstappen. Max Verstappen going for his first title, Sir Lewis going for his 8th, which would have been a record outright in the sports history. Now, there was a few races still to go. I think Max Verstappen was leading by this point, and then there was only one race to go after Saudi Arabia, and there were a few incidents on track, to say the least, between the two of them. It was quite bad. Max was very dirty in that race, in my opinion. If you go back and watch the highlights of it, I don't care if you're a Lewis fan, a Verstappen fan, or a neutral. Just take your biases out of it and look at what Verstappen did. Because some of those moves were just downright dirty and they were not on. And, they caused him to cut the chicane, they caused him to make contact with Lewis. And even when he was ordered to give Lewis the place, he did it in the worst possible way, to the point where Lewis literally slammed into the back of him because of it, and he got a penalty because of that, did Max. So this is the thing. This is the thing with Max, and he's got this in him. Unfortunately, he's proven that he's got this in him. When things are going hunky dory and everything's absolutely fine, no problem. He's absolutely clear. He's an unbelievable racer. He's so fast. You can't deny his talent. You can't, because he has buckets of it. He's one of the most raw, talented Formula 1 drivers we've ever seen. Of that, I have no doubt. But when the pressure's on, drivers act differently. There are certain drivers where this has happened before. Look at some of the moves that Sebastian Vettel pulled, on Sir Lewis as well, for that matter. When the pressure's on, they get their elbows out. And I'm sure some people will say, oh, that's hard racing, there's nothing wrong with that. There is something wrong with that, and he's been punished for it. But at the end of the day, a 10-second penalty is not that much of a punishment. In that situation, Max will do the exact same thing again. Because you know what? It worked. He finished ahead of Lando Norris. He finished in 5th position. Lando Norris didn't finish the race. So, if we're going into the final few laps, and it's Lando v Max at Silverstone, Verstappen's going to block Lando Norris. He's going to do the exact same thing again, if given the chance. And oh my God, the boos that'll be ringing out around Silverstone for that would be something else. But That's just my opinion. I am absolutely with Andrea Stella. You have to take a hard line on these incidents, otherwise Max will do it again. Because given what happened, I firmly believe Max will do exactly the same thing again if put in the same position. If he knows he's going to get a 10-second penalty and still finish in 5th, he'd do the exact same thing again without hesitation. That's just my opinion, though. What's your guys? Who's at fault here? Was Verstappen given enough of a penalty? Is Andrea Stella right? Is it going to happen again? Let us know in the comments below. And of course, keep it subscribed to the F1Chronicle.com for more video content just like this.